There's a pattern to your life that repeats every 9 years. And once you see it, it's extremely difficult to unsee it. And it's not a random occurrence because you are at a point within a cycle. Have you ever noticed that every 9 years of your life, you nearly completely turn into a completely different person with completely different responsibilities? Let me explain. So think about it like this. The first 9 years of your life, you came into the world pretty much helpless and you evolved as a child. You were happy to be a child. You basked and you love living that life. And around the age of 9, you grew tired and bored of that and you wanted something different and you showed it. So the second 9 years of your life, from 10 to 18, at this point, you wanted to be independent, even though you were completely dependent, give or take, depending on who you are. But around the age of 10, this is where you wanted to do things on your own. And you probably first started having romantic interests. And by the age of 18, you were expected to be an independent adult, even though you had pretty much no life experiences to draw from. Now, 9 years later, the next cycle, up to age 27, now you have this pretty complete catalog of life experiences to refer to going forward. And by the age of 36, you had likely developed your own life philosophy. And you could probably express that and explain it to whomever. And by the age of 45, you probably started analyzing your entire life and were considering or actually did make drastic changes. And by the age of 54, you uh, pretty much cleaned up a lot of what you had learned, and you had determined at that point in your life what actually mattered and what actually didn't really matter. It was never ever important in the first place. You probably cleaned and got rid of those things. And by the age of 63, you probably focus less on building who you are in the outer world, and you focus more on embodying what you believed and what you stood for and transmitting this information. So the question becomes, is this random or is there some type of system to this? But first, let's talk about what each year of a single 9 year cycle represents, or what the energy or what the story is behind each of these years is vibration or energy. So, with the number one, this is raw energy, likely with no clear direction, and it's very independent, free flowing energy. It's brand new. And number two, you could kind of layer it. You could think of it now. This energy has a direction, and with number two, it's about relationships, and you learn how to direct this energy within your relationships and understand and get reciprocation back through these energetic channels. It's about connecting. And number three, it's about learning through these relationships that you gain through number two, if we want to stack it on top of each other and become intelligent, become smarter, and layer our dreams on top of and hopes and wishes. And number four, it's about stability, it's about independence, it's about responsibility, it's about being able to stand on your own. And number five, it's about taking your stability and being able to make changes, make adaptations, be free. It's definitely freedom and change. And number six, what do you take from this newfound freedom and change if you want to stack number six on top of five? You take this and you initiate growth and expansion, but in a committed, responsible way. And number seven, if we were to stack number seven on top of number seven is about taking all that you've gained and applying it to a real life experience. It's actually getting out in the field and getting dirty and getting real field experience and knowing how things work actually on the ground. And number eight, if we were to stack it again in order to understand these concepts, number eight, you get a sense of mastery through your experiences. And through this mastery, you're perfecting things. And this is boss energy. This is master energy. You don't accept anything less than the best. And then number nine. Number nine is basically finality. And it's assessing what worked, what didn't work. It shows you your strengths. It shows you your limitations. And it's basically the finality of everything that you built to get to that point. And it clears space for brand new energy and a brand new cycle to start over. So a year one does not necessarily start the beginning of your life or the beginning of your cycles. Your cycles could start at a number other than one. For example, it could start at 1 and end at 9. It could start at 2 and end at 1. It could start at 3 and end at 2. It could start at 4 and end at 3, and so forth. So everyone's cycles don't start with the number 1 necessarily. Everyone's cycle starts with their life path number. And the life path number is the number that you came or incarnated onto earth with. And you get your life path number by adding all the numbers of your birth date. You take the number of the month you were born and you add it to the number of the day you were born, and you add it to the numbers of the number of the year that you were born. You add all of these numbers together and you keep adding them until they become only one number. And this is your life path number, and it is the first number that you start with. And the number before it is the number that you end with. Again, if you started with 5, you would end with 4. So your cycle would be a 5, and it would go all the way to a 4, and would keep starting over like that. So that was how the span of a 9-year cycle works for us specifically. So you're probably wondering, what about now? What about the energy of now in this year? So let's get right to it. Personal year. How do you determine what your personal year number is? With the personal year number, you take your birth, you take the month, the number of your month, and you take the number of the day that you were born, and you take the year that you're presently in, and you add all of those numbers together. And that gives you your personal year number. And now you're probably thinking, okay, now that I know how to do my personal year number, I know what my personal year number is now. How do I use this information? Well, before I tell you how to use this information, do your own homework, do your own research. It's very important that you understand how this works instead of just doing it. But let's say you're making an important life decision that kind of overlaps or expands over, let's say, a year. And you want that decision aligned with the best energy possible, most conducive to make your dreams happen or accomplish whatever it is that you're trying to accomplish. Let's say there's a huge change coming up that you plan to make. You want to make this huge change in your life, and you're wondering if this is the year to do so. In this case, you want to ride the wave and ask yourself, or this is my personal year energy for this year conducive to change? Then you would look at the numbers and you say, what numbers are very conducive to change? Well, a couple of these numbers, 1 through 9, are conducive to change. Like particularly the number 1. Number 1 is very raw, starting, powerful, new beginning type of energy. So that might, that might work out for you in that case. And number 5 is the epitome of change. 5 is definitely a change number. So in that case, number 1 and 5 seem like very supportive numbers. Now, does that mean that the rest of the numbers are not supportive? No, not at all. They could be very supportive. Each of these numbers carry their own certain type of energy. It all depends on the context and the details of your situation and your life. But in this example that I gave, a raw new big change beginning, 1 and 5 are the numbers for that. So in closing, I absolutely believe in free will, but I also believe that we are moving through energetic patterns, and even cyclic energetic patterns. And I talk about these things not to say that this is going to happen and you're powerless to it, because this is absolutely an empowerment channel. I do it and I talk about it to understand what's coming. Think of it like weather, and if there's a storm coming, you can pull out your umbrella, or at least have the umbrella ready. And also do this because it's very interesting to understand the subtle background energies and information that we are operating and moving through. It's really intriguing to me. Anyways, thank you for watching. I love and I appreciate you. Y'all all have a great one out there. Take care. Bye.